From around 12 to 9 million years ago, the oceans were home to a predator unlike anything we've seen since. A whale with teeth the size of butcher knives and a bite built to crush bone. This was Livyatan, a massive, deep-diving hunter that didn't chase fish. It hunted other whales. It was one of the fiercest marine predators the planet has ever seen. But then, it vanished, leaving behind only fossilized jaws and haunting questions. Why did this apex predator disappear? And what if it had never gone extinct? How would it compare to today's smartest ocean hunters, like killer whales? In this video, we'll journey back to the age of ocean monsters, uncover the truth about Livyatan's rise and fall, and imagine a world where this ancient titan still swims among us. Around 10 to 12 million years ago, the oceans were home to Livyatan Melvillei, a massive predator that could have given today's killer whales a run for their money. This giant whale wasn't your average ocean dweller. It had teeth up to a foot long, and unlike modern sperm whales, it didn't suck in food. It bit into its prey. Livyatan's jaws were built for gripping and tearing apart large animals, likely hunting massive baleen whales. Its robust skull and large temporal fossa, those big hollows on the side of its head where powerful jaw muscles attached, suggest it had a bite force that was absolutely brutal, capable of inflicting deep wounds and ripping off chunks of flesh. But Livyatan wasn't just powerful. It was perfectly built for life as a top predator. Named after the biblical sea monster, this beast had a streamlined, muscular body made for speed and deep diving, giving it the edge when chasing prey through the ocean depths. Like modern sperm whales, it probably used echolocation to track targets in the dark waters. But unlike today's social orcas, Livyatan most likely hunted solo. With its enormous mouth full of massive teeth and a hunger for calorie-rich prey like baleen whales, it didn't just survive in its ecosystem, it dominated it. The Miocene oceans were its hunting ground, and it ruled them with unmatched strength and precision. Even though Livyatan ruled the oceans in its time, it didn't just vanish overnight. Its extinction was the result of a combination of environmental changes that made life pretty tough for this top predator. Around the late Miocene, Earth started to cool down, and the oceans weren't the same. The smaller whales Livyatan relied on for food became harder to find, and the baleen whales it used to hunt grew bigger and became more efficient at filtering food. In other words, its go-to meals were no longer available, and the cooling oceans probably messed with how and where prey moved, making hunting even harder. To top it off, other marine predators, also feeling the effects of these changes, started to compete for the same food. Over time, Livyatan, once the ocean's top predator, struggled to adapt, leading to its extinction around 5.3 million years ago. It's a stark reminder that even the fiercest creatures can't survive when the whole food web gets thrown out of whack. While Livyatan's extinction was mainly the result of dramatic environmental shifts millions of years ago, it's fun to imagine what might happen if this massive predator were still around today. If Livyatan somehow returned to today's oceans, it might actually feel right at home. The warm, tropical, and subtropical waters it thrived in back then are still abundant today, making them perfect for this giant hunter. Plus, its favorite meals are still plentiful in the oceans, so food wouldn't be an issue. However, things have changed a lot since Livyatan's heyday. It would have some serious competition, with modern predators like orcas and great white sharks standing in its way. And of course, human activity, like overfishing and pollution, would pose even bigger threats. But despite these challenges, Livyatan could still have a shot at reclaiming its spot at the top. With its massive size and jaw-crushing bite, it could likely take on smaller rivals in direct combat, securing its place as an apex predator. It would probably stick to the warmer equatorial seas where the food is abundant, avoiding the colder polar regions. If it managed to stay out of the way of human threats, Livyatan might just dominate marine ecosystems once again, just like it did millions of years ago. If Livyatan were swimming around today, It is undeniable that it would quickly rise to the top of the food chain and completely dominate the oceans. This massive predator's immense size and jaw strength would allow it to target and hunt giant baleen whales, keeping their populations in check. By preying on these massive creatures, Livyatan would ensure that only the strongest whales survived, preventing overcrowding and promoting a healthier marine ecosystem. This predator-prey balance is crucial to maintaining a stable food chain, and with Livyatan around, it would make sure no one species became too dominant, keeping the ocean in harmony. Smaller marine animals like dolphins, seals, and mid-sized whales would definitely stay out of its way. But one of the most interesting dynamics would be between Livyatan and modern-day orcas. While orcas rely on teamwork, communication, and sharp hunting strategies to take down prey, Livyatan would bring raw power and size to the table as a lone hunter. It would be less about coordinated attacks and more about overwhelming force. Their paths might not cross often, but when they did, it could lead to fascinating standoffs or competition over food sources. In ecosystems where both existed, their different hunting styles could shape how prey animals behave, where they travel, and even when they're active. Together, these two apex predators would create a more complex and tightly regulated marine environment, where balance is maintained not just by one dominant force, but by the presence of multiple powerful players shaping the ocean in their own ways. Now, Livyatan may be long gone, but its story still matters, and not just because it was one of the fiercest predators the ocean has ever seen. Its extinction is a powerful reminder of how even the mightiest creatures aren't immune to change. When ecosystems shift, whether through climate, food scarcity, or competition, even apex predators can disappear. And that hits close to home today. Modern ocean giants like orcas, whales, and sharks are now facing their own threats, from climate change to noise pollution and habitat loss. Livyatan's fall from dominance is a cautionary tale. It shows us just how fragile ocean ecosystems really are, and why protecting the balance of marine life today is more important than ever. Thanks for diving into the depths with us to uncover the incredible story of Livyatan. If you enjoyed exploring interesting stories with us, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. What topics do you want us to dive into next? Let us know in the comments. Join us as we get animated about science here at Animated Science.